Hi there, it's Colin Nottage here, and welcome to the Interesting Health and Safety podcast. I'd also like to welcome to the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see this on video as well as a podcast episode. And I just want to talk about the last 6 months, I suppose. And I wanted to talk about the sort of things that I have learned as an individual by doing this podcast. And it's been pretty transformational, I think. I see this as a real honor almost. To be able to spend time talking to some of the most amazing people around the world who are trying to challenge and change health and safety in the workplace. And I've been really fortunate to meet, and I use the word meet in in little asterisks that you can't obviously see on the podcast, but because just so many of these conversations have been done by Zoom. But hey, isn't that the way forward that we're going as just in society and in life in general? We are going to be doing so much more of these interactions. Over the airways, but to be totally honest with you, it works. It's really effective. It really works, and it's let's say it's been a real pleasure. And I suppose for me, because of the lockdown that's happened, a lot of these people that are newly flying all over the world, have had some time to sit back and reflect, and pretty much all that I've spoken to have said, it's been absolutely wonderful to have that little bit of a breathing space to really consider what is going on. And what I don't want to do today is I don't want to really mention individuals, because there have been some absolutely inspiring people that have been on the podcast. What I want to do is I want to just talk a little bit about some of the learnings that I've taken over this last 6 month period, and just try and put them into a bit of order, I suppose, and to sort of formulate it a little bit. And at the moment, there's a lot of infighting that's going on within the health and safety world, and there's a lot of people that are talking about traditional safety, and there's people that are talking about safety differently. And when I've spoken to people both sides of the fence, and what I've found is that that people do just want people not to get hurt. There's a real underlying sort of want within all the people that I've spoken to that the well-being of the person at the sharp end is the real important focus of what we're trying to do. But maybe people are thinking that they're having to go about it in a different way. There's the more traditional safety people are saying, there's nothing new here. It's all been spoken about before, and I sort of get that. I get that. I understand that. But the safety differently, and the HOP and the safety 2 people, and they, I suppose their need to reinvigorate certain aspects of health and safety have come about because there's been some frustration, and I don't think it's right of anybody to sort of diss somebody else. If somebody's frustrated about something and they decide to do something about it, then surely that has got to be good for the good for the industry, good for the way that we're working. And I think sort of fundamentally, sort of the more traditional safety people are very much talking with the people that are doing the job. The safety differently people are very much about talking with the people who are doing the job. The traditional safety people, it's about having systems and processes and procedures, and I see the safety differently people of having systems and processes and procedures. And there's so much commonality there, but what there are is there are different focuses, I suppose. And for me, one of the real focuses that I've taken, is how you manage failure. And for me, I think that is fundamentally the bit that is looked at a little bit differently. And I do feel that, traditionally there's, and even if it's not what the traditional safety people wanted, how it's actually implemented in the workplace is very, very easy to blame the individual. To blame the person that has had the issue, that has had the problem, and almost see that as the solutions. You know, that person has got something wrong, and if you think about behavioural safety, it's about trying to change the behaviour of individuals, and it's almost saying, well, they must have something wrong with them then. And I think the safety differently people are looking and say, well, actually, if something's gone wrong, it's probably the business, the company that have got it, that have got it wrong. And this video, there might be people that are jumping up and down. Oh, that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. But I'm just giving my view, my opinion. And I think the thing that I've learned is not to immediately jump on the individual. Hey, I had an incident recently where an employee of a business overrode a safety feature. Okay, and that safety feature was quite critical, and it would have been very easy for the company just to blame the individual. Okay, you shouldn't have overridden that safety feature, and maybe discipline, maybe sacked him, whatever it may be. Okay, but it turned out that it had been quite a number of weeks. It had actually been quite a number of months that this safety feature hadn't been working. And so I was starting to say, hold on a minute then, okay? If you've got this thing that you're now saying is so important that your business must have this in place and your people should have been following it, I said, why is it taking you nearly 4 months to actually find out that it wasn't working? It obviously couldn't have been as important as you're making it out it was been before you found out that it was wrong. So what you've got to do is you've got to start to look at that. The people that worked around this individual defeated this safety feature didn't say anything. They didn't put their hands up. They didn't say anything. And again, it's the easiest thing in the world, isn't it, to say, well, you should have said something. You should have spoken out. But in actual fact, for some reason, whatever it may be, they didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel confident to actually talk up, to speak up about it. And that is a business issue. That is an issue in the way that the company is actually being managed, really, because it's it's showing that you haven't got the right culture. And I don't like using this term safety culture. I think it's the culture of the business, how things are done around here. And so for me, I think how businesses manage that kind of stuff. I think the language as well, I think is really, really important. And I've done quite a bit recently on on trying to change the language of the business. And that is because I've been talking to people that have had some success in doing that. And I just feel that it's creating a nicer workplace. If you're not investigating accidents, but you're actually trying to learn from events, then that's a nicer place to be working in. If you've got an environment, okay, where you're not auditing and you're not doing management review, but you're doing health checks and you're doing overviews. Again, I just feel that just takes a little bit of pressure out of the situation. So I feel there's some real benefits to sort of thinking about these these slightly different approaches, these different nuances, I suppose, in how you in how you manage health and safety in the workplace. I think for me as well is the thing that I'm really starting to focus on now, and that's the understanding how work is actually done rather than how people perceive that work is being done. And I think, again, if you look at the traditional safety people and you look at the safety differently people, there's always been a want to talk to people, and look at how jobs are being done. But I think the safety just puts a slightly different emphasis on it, and I did an episode right back at the start of this podcast talking about health and safety is like chocolate biscuits, and this really great guy called Harvey Hartman who was a real inspiration to me when I was growing up through the safety process. He said he goes a chocolate biscuit has got chocolate inside. And if all you're going to do is sell chocolate, which we're trying to sell health and safety, he says if the cover's a bit boring, then are people going to buy it? And if you look at companies that sell chocolate, then they put brightly coloured wrappers on it, and they've got different coloured wrappers, and it's wrapped up differently. And so don't be afraid to wrap up health and safety differently. don't be afraid to do that. But inside is the chocolate. Inside is the consistency. And I think, you know, if you've got those consistent messages that you're looking to put out into the business, then it's fine. It's fine shaking it up a little bit. It's fine. It's fine trying to make it a little bit different. So, you know, so when you're looking at your business, when you're looking at your workplace, you know, be comfortable to maybe look to do things a little bit differently. Go and spend time out in the workplace, you know, with the people, really getting an understanding of how the work is done. I'm going to be doing an episode in a couple of weeks that I think is really going to change, hopefully change the way that you view risk assessment in your business. Because we've got some ideas on how we are going to do risk assessment really, really differently. Okay, and I'm gonna just leave that one there as a little teaser for a few weeks' time. But you know, get the people much better involved. You know, change the way that you talk around health and safety. Just make it an important part of how you do things. You know, I did another episode right at the beginning about don't put it on a pedestal. You know, and I think, you know, for me that's been a real learning these last 6 months, is the people that are really starting to get some success and not making health and safety the number one priority. You know, maybe also that, you know, this drive to zero, you know, can shut people up. And so why would you want to introduce anything into your business that potentially is going to stop people talking about health and safety? You know, I don't get that. And so again, just repackaging, changing the emphasis, you know, putting the emphasis on the people at the sharp end, the people that are doing the work, I think then starts to become something that's of real value and of real benefit. Hey, look, you know, there's loads of other stuff that you know, that we've learned, and I really hope you go back and listen to some of the episodes over the last 6 months. That the interviews, I think for me, you know, the interviews that I've done with some of the people out there about, you know, psychological safety and human performance, and, you know, just really great. I've got some brilliant interviews coming up as well. You know, with people that have got slightly different views on it. Our aim is just to continually push, continually challenge, and to try and make health and safety, you know, something that's as important. Hey, we've got it here, making it as important as everything else that we do in business. And if we can be successful achieving that, then I think, you know, the workplace is going to be much better. Hey, look, that's just 10-15 minutes of me talking about the last 6 months. I'm going to do this regularly. You know, I just want to reflect. I just want to sit back and just have a think about it. You know, and I'd really love your opinions. I'd really love your views, your comments on what you think, you know, makes good health and safety performance. Hey, I'll catch up with you really soon. Bye for now.